What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with a very interesting news story I noticed yesterday while sifting through my news feed on my phone at work. This happened a few days ago, and this is exactly why, if Kroger and other places like Fred Meyer, Target, Walmart, along with city officials, do not start cracking down on crime, we're going to have more incidences like this happening everywhere. Does not matter if you're in a blue state or a red state. It comes down to also cities, leaderships, and everything else. Okay? So, this gentleman here, and I watched two videos on it, and it's it's very interesting with what they talk about in here, but he tried to stop a shoplifter or someone out at a Fred Meyer down in Portland, and the dude got shot, right? Now, we're going to watch the video, and hopefully anyone else who watches this kind of notices how they tell the news story. But let's get into this.
Death now turned into a
Suspicious
homicide.
death.
A shooting victim in Northeast Portland now being identified as a Portland man doing grocery shopping, then shot while trying to stop a robbery suspect. At 11, I'm Jeff Gianolo.
So pay attention to that part, because we're going to be watching two videos, this one and another one. So, suspicious.
I'm Elizabeth Finn. Portland police say Jonathan Trent died on Monday in the parking lot of a Northeast Fred Meyer store. Ariel Yakabazi joins us live tonight. I want to know, are the details of this case, they're absolutely heartbreaking. I know you talked...
Not the first person to get shot or shot at a Fred Meyer. Matter of fact, actually, this is the umpteenth person that this happened to. And this is happening all over the place. It's happening in Portland. It's happening in Alaska. Like, all sorts of stuff. There was an incident at Alaska Fred Meyer where a dude literally robbed the bank in Alaska Fred Meyer that didn't have an armed guard in it, that should have had an armed guard in it. But at the same time, this is something that Fred Meyer does not tell their associates or their customers. The armed guards are there just for show. Kroger literally told their armed guards that they have working alongside with the company, because they're contracted with the company, they told them to be hands off. They literally have armed guards at the front doors checking receipts, even though they're technically not checking receipts. And at the same time, even if there's a discrepancy on the receipt, they're not allowed to detain or hold on to the merchandise whatsoever. They're told to just let it out. Which goes, what's the point of having armed guards who you're paying like $26 to $30 an hour to mark receipts? Why are you doing that? If, one, you have people going out your emergency exits, and two, you're allowing, and this is on Kroger, Kroger is allowing trespassers, vagrants, and all sorts of other people to hang out and be at the store that aren't allowed at the store whatsoever. And that right there emboldens the criminality. Some people go, oh, they're desperate people. Well, the thing is, the desperate people wouldn't be desperate if it wasn't for the way the economy went, along with prices in grocery stores, along with places like Portland, Anchorage, California, Los Angeles, and a whole bunch of other places like New York City, lots of other places that the leadership of those cities are pocketing thousands and thousands of dollars, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, into themselves because they don't care, right? And you have things like this. I hope to God this man's family sues Kroger and the city, because this could have been prevented. If that city would not have defunded their police, they'd have more police force. If they would actually arrest criminals and punish criminals, unlike letting them out. They, like, literally, we arrested somebody. Well, not arrested, but one of our ORC people came into our grocery store. We know this dude by name, Michael DeCarvid Smith. He is well known across several states for theft. And I mean high-end retail theft. I'm not talking about a few dollars here and there. Thousands of dollars worth of shit. And it's ORC, organized retail crime. right? Fred Meyer is aware of it. Kroger's aware of it. Several states and cities are aware of it, right? So we get this guy arrested, right? He's out the next day. This dude comes in with a kid, goes out emergency exit door with a kid in the car with stolen merchandise, gets let out of jail. Kind of crazy when you have law-abiding citizens worried to death of being arrested because they broke the law, but you have arrogant people going around just breaking the law willy-nilly because they know they're going to get out the next day or within a few hours. And that right there is where the justice system in the states, every state has been failing. And if they don't start punishing the criminals, especially the violent ones, or the ones who clearly are going to keep doing what they're doing, if you aren't going to keep them in jail, in my opinion, I think people should start suing the cities because clearly the cities don't care about the citizens. And or if they don't start doing that, you can guarantee the citizens are going to start putting the law in their own hands, meaning there's going to be a lot of bad things happening to the bad criminals around, and you don't want that. Which is where if you want to prevent that, city leaderships, Kroger, cities and states like Alaska, California, Oregon, Washington, all these other places that have high-end liberal people pretending to be conservatives and all this other kind of bullcrap, if you do not start actually showing like actual betterment in your stores and your cities, this is going to keep happening.
To his family, how are they taking this? This must be difficult.
Ridiculous.
Well, you guys, they're taking it as best
I'd be
as
suing
they
the
can,
city
as you
for
can
defunding the
imagine.
police.
Very, very difficult time for them. I did speak with one of Jonathan's siblings over the phone earlier this afternoon, and while they didn't want to go on camera, they did tell me they're remembering Jonathan as a good person who always wanted to help.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have had to do that.
I can't imagine sending my husband to QFC or this Freddy's and not having him come home.
Tonight, Portland police are still looking.
And stuff like this happens all the time.
They shot this man, 47-year-old Jonathan Trent.
This is a man who went to the grocery store. He should have gone home a few minutes later, but he didn't.
Portland police
Yeah,
say this happened
and this is Portland leadership's fault. The mayor and the governor's fault. Sue that state and city.
Initially got there, they didn't see that Trent was hurt. They later
See, they didn't see that he was hurt. So, my question is, not a single associate heard a gunshot. Not a single customer heard a gunshot. Or is it so normalized, so prevalent that they're like, oh, okay, so someone's shooting at something or whatever, so they didn't do anything. Really? This is also where they have grounds to sue the state and the city because the city officials failed this man. They probably could have saved his life if they weren't stupid.
He died after being shot.
Our initial investigation suggests that Mr. Trent witnessed a robbery and was shot while trying to intervene and stop the suspect.
So, I work retail security, right? And one of my jobs is to walk around, follow people, like receipt check people, and do this all this other kind of stuff, right? This is a dude who literally probably just said, hey, you're stealing, or something along the case, right? Don't know, haven't seen any video footage, probably won't see anything for a while, because Fred Meyer likes to hush-hush this kind of stuff. And I shouldn't say Fred Meyer, because Fred Meyer, back before Kroger got a hold of it, was a great company. They were a really good company. Now it's just dirt because Kroger ruined it like they ruin everything else that they touch. But this right here is where it's either A, Kroger needs to start paying their hourly associates. I mean, everyone who works at your grocery stores, you need to start paying them hazard pay. Especially in cities like that, like Portland, like Anchorage, like Los Angeles, wherever you have a Kroger or a King Super or a Fred Meyer or anything like that. If your city that you're residing in is high on crime, and not only high on crime, but very liberal when it comes to punishments of said criminals, you better start paying your associates more money, because if not, you're going to start losing associates, because that is an unsafe work environment. You had a customer get shot in front of your store And not a single person was aware of it, and not a single person helped that man. Not even a single store associate. Are you fucking kidding me? Kroger, you are going to get sued. I would sue the shit out of you if I was them.
Benner says detectives are working leads, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing security video.
Cases like this are incredibly unusual.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Because literally, I see stupid crap. Maybe not people getting shot, but people getting threatened with guns. Matter of fact, actually, one of our AP guys and one of my CESs had a gun pulled on them from a shoplifter. Now, I'm a 2A person, so like people having guns doesn't bother me none. But this is where, in my opinion, if security for retail locations were allowed to actually do their jobs instead of just annoy these people, because this is also why these people are now getting more violent, is because we're annoying the living shit out of them because we can't do very much of anything. For AP, asset protection, the plainclothes people, they have to follow people. People like me, we're basically roving security cameras. Which also, because of what we have to wear, like we have to wear like a very unique high-vis fucking color. So for us walking around and or following people or customer servicing people, because we're told by Kroger, oh hey, just customer service them enough. Maybe eventually they'll just leave. Yeah, or they'll stab us or shoot us or assault us, and then we lose our job because we got shot, we got stabbed, we got assaulted. Because Kroger is very well known for firing and letting their associates go via either significant injury, because they don't want to pay you for you being injured and all this other kind of stuff, and or they'll call it policy violation mutual combat, which is bullshit. And this gentleman saying it's unusual. No, it's not. He clearly does not watch the news. He clearly does not watch all the security footage of people running into grocery stores, Kroger's, Walmart's, Target's, does not matter. Everywhere, anything that sells stuff, people are getting their windows broken, material stolen, destroyed, a whole lot of other kind of crap. It's not unusual whatsoever. That's a lie, sir.
But they can happen.
But they can happen. Happens every day. Multiple times a day. We literally deal with the same people every day, multiple times a day.
Somebody had cut his shirt off, and when they went to roll him over, and I said to my husband, I think that person's gone.
She calls the timing of their leaving the store impeccable.
I really think if we had been 2-3 minutes sooner, it very well could have been us involved.
She says her husband would have done the same thing as Jonathan, jumping into action to stop a thief.
And in my opinion, that shouldn't be something that everyday people should be doing. That is store security jobs, and that is the police job. So this right here could have been avoided. Now, at the same time, I'm one of those people that believes if you see something, you do something. You don't just say something, because saying something doesn't get done, especially to store associates who quite literally are not allowed to do anything without fear of losing their job. And with very little businesses that are out there that can pay you a livable wage, you're forced, which is what Kroger does on purpose, which is why they tried to, get Albertsons and all these other kind of things, which is where, in my opinion, I think the FTC needs to go and look at Kroger again and probably break up their company and make it to the point where Fred Meyer is Fred Meyer again. Kroger is Kroger, and they, literally separate several of their stores because they have way too much money and they need to have their books looked at. Because quite literally, matter of fact, actually, they've been having pay discrepancies for their hourly associates. Case in point, they haven't paid me properly for 2 weeks. It's about to be ready 3 weeks, and I'm about ready to start calling the Better Business Bureau and find a lawyer who's going to start going through their books and have a good look at what the hell they're doing, because they have an HR and a time and attendance person who clearly ain't doing their jobs properly. But yet, ironically, a manager can easily get paid the proper wage, even if they miss way too many days. But if you're an hourly associate, you miss 1 day, they're taking $300-$400 from your ass.
But his family must be just...
And they tell you, oh, just wait until next week, you'll get your full pay next time. No, give me my full pay now.
Now, Portland police say that they are hard at work interviewing
Doubt
witnesses,
that.
sifting through security video, and really working to gather any more information that they can. And they ask that if anybody has any information about this case, if they think they may have seen something, or if they know where the suspect may be, you're asked to give Portland police a call. Reporting live in downtown Portland tonight.
What's that gonna do? They barely have any police, and all the violent criminals get let out like the next day.
David, so initial investigation.
This is the first one I saw.
That a 47-year-old man identified as Jonathan Trent from Portland was just trying to help when he was killed at the grocery store this Monday. Officers were responding to reports of a robbery and shots fired outside the Fred Meyer on Northeast 102nd Avenue near Halsey Street just before 4 p.m. That's when they found Trent on the ground in the parking lot. He was then transported to the hospital where he was declared dead. The Portland Police Bureau says at first there was no indication that Trent was shot.
Right there. At first, there's no indication that Trent was shot, but he was on the ground and they responded to shots fired. Incompetence. Right there. Right there. Incompetence. Because how in the hell, as a police officer, do you respond to shots fired at a location and don't initially start looking at the person on the fucking ground for wounds of any kind? Really? Really? Either A, they didn't care, or B, they're incompetent. I'm going with B.
He received medical care and then eventually an autopsy. The medical examiner has confirmed he died of homicide by gunshot wound. Portland police described the situation as awful.
Yeah.
And he should have gone home a few minutes later, and he didn't. And it's because he witnessed a crime and he tried to intervene.
That dude's liberal as all hell, you can tell.
Who should still be with us today and isn't, and that's beyond awful.
Because people like you are failing at your job, sir.
The investigation is still ongoing. So far, the shooter has not been caught, and
not a surprise.
Anyone with any information to contact detectives. Back to you.
How much you want to bet it's going to be a violent offender, someone who's been in and out of jail and prison repeatedly over the last 4+ years? How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet is going to be something along those lines? And or it's going to be an illegal immigrant. I'm still going off of someone who's been in and out of court multiple times for violent offense. I mean, we had a lady last night at our store who was very well known for bodily harm to others with weapons and with themselves, drug use, like just schizophrenic episodes, a whole lot of other stuff. We had that at our store last night. That's what we deal with. And we get paid literally less than $20 an hour. While the other people, AP, get paid 20 some odd dollars an hour. And they sit in an office majority of the time until they get called. But even then, that's only if they want to come out to the sales floor. While me and mine are on the sales floor watching and looking and following and doing all the other stuff. Like, I put in 10 to 15 miles almost every day at work. I get paid $19 an hour. I don't get paid enough. So either Kroger, you might want to start paying your people the same wage or get rid of that cap out bullshit that you have, because you're losing people. You really are. At my store, we used to have so many associates. Now we barely have anybody in any department. Most departments might have 2 or 3 people in there, when there used to be 5 on a regular, 5 or 6. This is a multi-million-dollar company, and they can't actually pay their associates properly. And I'm not talking about like a good wage. I'm talking about on time. And then they tell their associate, oh, just wait until next week. You'll get your full check. I shouldn't have to wait a whole other week to get my money. I need my money. I'm only an hourly associate, not like some manager who gets like $50,000 plus more a year, every year. Are you kidding me? And yet managers do nothing. They don't know the customers. They don't know anything other than, oh, hey, we have to order this. Oh, hey, this person didn't show up for their job. I need to have a conversation with them. Managers don't do shit. In my opinion, managers should be at the same pay level as an hourly associate. Oh, but, they need an incentive to move up. The people who get moved up in corporations are brown nosers or the best friend of the person who's looking for someone to replace somebody. That is it. So until that changes, Kroger, you might want to start thinking about paying your hourly associates a lot better, especially now in cities like Portland or, in states like Oregon, and Washington and California and Utah or wherever you have your places, you might want to start paying them more money because your associates are going to unionize completely. And I mean your security staff. Just imagine if your security staff unionizes and then goes, oh, okay, you don't want to pay us nothing, then we're not going to be here. Why are we going to be here if you're not going to pay us a livable wage? You're not going to give us an actual, proper amount of money for what we do. Because I can give you a laundry list of all the stuff that I have to do at that store, and it's nowhere near close to anything what the AP, the security of that store, do. Because they just sit in an office, they look at security cameras. Every so often they might have to go to court, but they don't put as much floor work in. They don't have to actually do very much of anything other than twiddle their fingers in their offices. And this is AP in almost every single store, not just a Fred Meyer, not just a Kroger. This is Walmart, Target. It does not matter because corporations do not want to pay their security for getting injured because they know it's a risk, which is why they allow criminals and thieves to come into their stores, steal their stuff, so they can raise the prices of their stuff for their insurance that they have for theft. So, if you're a shopper, if you're a worker, I think it's a good time to start talking and calling Kroger and saying, hey, if you don't want to boycott or if you don't want unionizations or anything else, you might want to start talking to your CEO, CFOs, your shareholders, and all this other kind of stuff and tell them, hey, we need to change because if we don't, we're going to become bankrupt. Because the thing is, if every one of your stores across the country to have a unanimous day of walkout, do you think you're going to make any money? If every one of your hourly associates leave in every single store across the country, Kroger, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think will happen when your associates get tired of the bullcrap and go, okay, they don't care about the customer or us. They only care about the dollar value that they make off of the criminal because the criminal is what's making them money. Because the criminal comes in, steals a couple $1,000s worth of shit, they can then start raising prices because they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. There's one person we've arrested multiple times. We've gotten recoveries off of multiple times. Heather Brown. We have her by name. This woman comes in. We've done an average. She steals roughly about $30,000 to $40,000 last year. She tried to. What we recovered from her. That's not what we haven't gotten back from her. So if she can get that much money, that's one person that we deal with multiple times. And then there's Michael DeCarvin-Smith, who has stolen equivalently way more. Because he hits Carhartts and Ariat and all that other kind of stuff that they can sell on Facebook Marketplace. So if Kroger really wanted to change, if the country really wanted to change all that kind of stuff, well, they would get rid of the Facebook Marketplace. Or they would literally be making it to the point to where if you're selling stuff on there, you're now going to be taxed for it. Or something along those lines. Something to the point to where you are not getting away with selling stolen shit. But that's it for the video. I hope this opens up people's eyes about retail locations, because this isn't just Kroger or Fred Meyer. This is happening across the country, across the board, at any retail location. This is gas stations. This is Walgreens. Why do you think Walgreens is shutting their doors in San Francisco? Why do you think Safeway is shutting their doors in other cities and other states? Because of theft. And it's not their fault fully. I mean, it kind of is. But at the same time, if you're not going to pay your security staff to do a job, to keep people out, and I mean out, off the property, out of the building, eventually those people won't be coming to that store no more because they're like, oh, okay, well, I can't even get onto the property without getting kicked off. Guess what? They're not going to be so inclined to come into your store and do stupid crap. And at the same time, you're less likely to get an associate injured when you're doing that, especially if you're having a fully stacked security staff. Not one or two or three. No, I'm in a fully stacked security staff. But, yeah, that's it for the video. Hopefully everyone enjoys this. Stay free, America. Love you guys.